Hello, welcome to my daily Silk Road mountain race updates. So this is day 1 and 2, so I'm away from home at the moment, so just forgive me for a couple of days until I get back into sync. I should be back doing updates each evening, so I'm wrapping day 1 and 2 into one to start with. But let's get over to my progress. So this is the tracking that Silk Road uses. And well, as you can see, Stephen Davis is up front at the moment, and he's followed by Sofian Sahili and Justina Silveka. Closely, not too far behind them is Jens van Roost. And yeah, this doesn't give us the big picture though. This has been a pretty chaotic start. You can see the top 10, the top 5 or 6 are just heading into the Karakol Valley, up Karakol Pass. We'll have a look at that in Raber GPS in a second. And you can see the lead woman is Kerry McPhee, and yeah, she's done a really great ride so far. And yeah, it's been, I think it's fair to say, absolute carnage. So we'll come on to that in a second. Before we get any further, we've got a couple of sponsors that are making this happen. A big thank you to Albion. They've been supporting me for years. I've used all their kit in Kyrgyzstan and all my other races. So I'm just going to highlight bits of gear as we go through this coverage. So you may notice this Lidar jersey and the Sunshield short sleeve jersey being used out there in Kyrgyzstan at the moment on a couple of riders. Actually, I used the UV jersey in on the transcontinental race recently, and it's especially good for the Silk Road because you're pretty high in the mountains, lots of UV, and it's just worth protecting yourself. So yeah, that's the Albion jerseys. Definitely worth checking out. They've also got things like the Sunshield long sleeve jersey, which again could be very useful on those hot long passes when under the blazing sun at altitude. Obviously the UV index is quite a lot higher when you're at altitude, so yeah, it's one of the many factors you need to think about on the Silk Road mountain race. So I've got a discount for Albion. I'll put that on screen, and thanks to those guys for supporting this coverage. And also Psych Plus, they do these little electric pumps. They also do turbo trainers. I ride a turbo trainer. I'm not a Zwifter or anything like that. I use it quite a lot, mainly for heat adaptions. So yeah, the Cyclos Turbo Trainer does come in very useful, and it's more relevant than you may think for the Silk Road mountain race. So we'll come on to that in a second. Let's just have a little look to see where the riders have been in the last 24 hours. If we look at the tracker here, they're 1 day, 5 hours in. So they started at 8 AM. So they're going to be around sort of midday local time, and as I said, heading up the Karakol Valley up to the Karakol Pass here. Now I've actually got a super top secret version of Raber GPS, which I'm going to show you. It's got a 3D mode. How cool is this? So this puts a nice 3D layer over the map, and I think it's going to be really cool just to really bring this course to life. So you can see the riders started here in Talas. Let me tilt that a bit, and then up this pass. So it was about 3,500 meters, 3,000, 4,000 meters up this first pass, and then the riders dropped down into this big wide valley. See with the lake in there. And I think this is where, well, I think the descent is where a lot of problems started. So we'll come on to stories and things in a minute, but there was absolute chaos. Sounds like lots of punches, and then riders probably went too hard. I say probably, I mean almost definitely went way too hard, and then dropped down into a 40-degree valley. And you can see it's on this 3D map. It's kind of like a bit of a bowl. So you can imagine the heat is just sitting in this lowland here, surrounded by mountains, probably not much in the way of breeze. And it sounds like a lot of people have come down with heat stroke, been sick, unable to eat, and yeah, I think the whole race has been totally turned on its head. And then you can see, so the riders are currently going up here. So this is kind of the Karakol Valley. So I rode here last year on the way to the start, which was in Osh. So not too far away from this start. Osh is down here, and I can assure you that it was really, really hot. You're on the edge of the desert basically, so you can see Uzbekistan's here, big desert area, and this is kind of the area where all that heat hits the mountains. So these mountains are super hot, and it sounds like a lot of people have suffered as a result. But our leaders are just heading up here, which is the Karakol Pass, and you can see here, actually if you go back to my preview, I've dropped a bit of video in there. So it's a long steady kind of ride up a valley. We can actually, there's another new feature on Raber GPS I can show you. is the grade. So you can see here, obviously green is kind of not it shows like 0 to 3%, the steepest being 15% plus. So you can see that there's just, it's kind of like almost a long false flat more than anything, with a little bit of a pass at the top. You can see the orange dot there just showing, and there's actually a community photo on top of that pass. And yeah, when I was up there it was beautifully sunny, but you can see it's always very changeable. This is the descent down, so riders will be heading back down that valley before they head up to CP1. And so yeah, so this is a Riber GPS. Again, these two features, I think the gradients are probably available on premium Riber GPS, and I've got a beta version of the 3D maps at the moment. So yeah, really cool, and I think this is going to be super good to sort of show us the route in kind of more detail, and you know, especially with a mountainous route like this, it's going to be really cool. So yeah, so that's where the riders are at. So you can see this kind of lead group here. Let's just have a little look on the sort of the run time, because I think, well, we'll go to the top 15. This probably gives us a bit of a clearer indication. So you can see loads of riders started really quick, and so flat line is not moving, and the steeper the line, the faster they're riding. And you can see, yeah, there's a big push here, and then looks like 12 hours in, the wheels started falling off, and you can see some of the riders here. For example, Tom Schwemberger, he was posting that he was suffering with the heat, but he stopped quite early, and he's coming back in now. So you know, it's still quite a small spread at this early stage. But one of the big challenges of the Silk Road mountain race is, well, it's not the cycling. The cycling is the easy bit. It's the food, it's the heat, it's then going to the cold, it's the altitude. All of these things combined. You know, and riders going up to 3,500 meters unacclimatized in the heat is only going to run away. And it was actually similar in the start last year. We went over almost 4,000 meter pass from Osh, which is, you know, below 1,000 meters, which is essentially Kyrgyzstan's version of sea level. And yeah, we went up this massive 4,000 meter pass and dropped down into a similar valley. It was 35 degrees all day, and people were popping all over the place. I had to sort of, you know, dive in a stream when I saw it just to cool off. It really was quite tough during the day. And when you combine altitude and heat, that's when we see the chaos that we've just seen here. And you can see our current leader, Stephen Davis. He's not really slept much, but he's ridden really smartly. I mean, you can see that he was kind of not at the front early on, and I think he's probably managed himself really well. And I've raced Stephen before. He's actually partners with Cynthia Carson, and I know that they've both spent some time in Colorado, altitude and heat. They're both from the US, so they're probably quite well acclimatized to it. And then you can see that, you know, Sofian's been fairly consistent. He's had a small stop, but nothing major. And Justinas, again, he looked like he got pretty hot, and then he's kind of catching back up. And Jens had that rim problem, but he's still rolling. So yeah, so that's where we're at there. I've also got a couple of voice messages. So actually, it seems like I have a bit of a roving reporter now. So let's hear from my roving reporter, Sofian Sahili. He sent me a really useful message with some really good updates. So let's listen to Sofian, and if you wondered how hard it was and wondered how much they were suffering, then just listen to Sofian's voice, because he sounds pretty ruined.
Hey Josh, hope you're doing well. What is that message? Reporting live from the Silk Road Mountain Race. Max Lisa is, he's fucking fascinating. Jens van Roost cracked his rim going down that first pass. Angus opened up a gash in his tire. Then he overheated. I too overheated. But if you check my stories, you can see that I was smart enough to spend about 10-15 minutes in an ice cold river with some local truckers, and now I'm feeling much, much better. Jens, though he cracked the rim, is still riding very strong. We just passed Justinas, who was in front of a shop eating ice cream, suffering from the heat as well. Well, I guess it's pretty much like, so yeah, obviously it's extremely hot. Like, I overheated in a paved climb, and the GPS was 39 degrees.
So there we have it, 39 degrees, and you can just see, or hear the strain in Sofian's voice there, and slurring words, and yeah, it's tough. It's tough out there. And I mean, I don't think you can win the Silk Road mountain race in the first couple of days, but you can certainly lose it. And I think how you manage this heat is going to be key. So those guys that come into the front now, assuming they've not dug too deep, but I mean, if they're up there, then I would assume they've kind of managed the heat fairly well. I think they'll be kind of our protagonists at the front there. So we're looking at Jens, Sofian, Justinas, Stephen Davis. They seem to be going pretty well. A rider that didn't feature in our top 20 is Angus Young. He was just third at the Tour Divide. So I always do wonder, backing up Tour Divide with the Silk Road. It's a big ask. I mean, it's possible. Sofian's done it, Robin's done it, and won both. Angus he always seems to struggle with the heat a little bit. So let's just see what Angus said. He posted some stories. I'll show a couple of them in a minute. But yeah, it sounds like he might have fried himself. So this is Angus Young.
Hey Josh, update from me. I've not had the best start to my race. So the climb up the start was fine. Then the descent, I had like an 1.5 inch long cut. So I spent half an hour sewing it up. I actually did a good job. I haven't had to blow it up since, so that's good. But in the valleys, it's like 40 degrees, and I think I've gone down with a heat stroke. I've been throwing up again, and now I'm like shivering in the heat. I'm at the shop just trying to get more fluids back in and cool down. And I think everyone's suffering in this heat as well. But yeah, me especially.
So there we go. That's Angus suffering, and yeah, this is so back on. We'll go on to some Instagram stories now. Then, so this is what Sofian was talking about. So he basically just jumped in the river, and this was a super smart move from Sofian. Cooling is absolutely key, and there's a reason you see World Tour riders in the Tour de France pouring water on themselves non-stop, because heat absolutely destroys your performance. So yeah, very smart move from Sofian here, and yeah, always the entertainer as well. So it's really great to see Sofian back at the races. So this is Sofian having a nice bath, cooling down, and this water will be coming off the mountains. It's probably glacier melt. It's going to be really cold. Just getting your body temperature down does absolute wonders. So I think he wouldn't have necessarily saved his race, but he's definitely saved the first couple of days of his race by taking this really smart move. So nice one there from Sofian. There's a couple of updates, basically repeating what he said on our voice notes. I won't play those again, but go and check out Sofian's Instagram for updates. And then this is pretty cool one this morning. You can just see the salt stains. You can see the strain in Sofian's face, and yeah, it's the boys on tour, Sofian and Justinas.
Sitting in front of a shop, then I found this guy. What are you drinking, man?
Mojito.
Mojito.
I went for mojitos now.
So I was like, yeah, good idea. And now we're all like drinking mojito.
Cheers, baby.
Cheers, man. Na zdrowie.
Woo! Trying to come back into life.
We had a rough night. We had a rough day. And then we had a rough night. But I didn't puke while somebody did. Okay. It's not funny. What a shitty haircut. At least you have your helmet, yeah. I should keep my helmet on, yeah.
So yeah, so that's Sofian. I love seeing Sofian back at the races. We've definitely missed his his dry wit and stupidity. Hopefully we'll hear some more from Justinas as well. But yeah, everyone's suffering. This was Niels Kobb. Basically, again, can't eat, no energy. That's heat stroke. So yeah, you've just got to look after yourself. And sometimes going slow at the start of these races is the way forward. And I think those that go too hard too early definitely pay. This is Jens. We heard that he cracked his rim. So yeah, I mean, if it's holding up, he might as well carry on. But could be a ticking time bomb, so we'll just have to see. But you know, you go all that way to Kyrgyzstan and crack it on the first day, you're probably going to try and carry on. So it might be okay. I mean, sometimes you can crack the external, and then like the inner kind of section of the rim will hold together. So yeah, hopefully that's not going to affect Jens too much.
After about an hour or so, calming down and chilling out in the shade, I got riding again, did another, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. But, well, you can see I'm in the shade at the shop again. So, right, sun's gone down. I'm back on the road. It's sort of down to 26, 27. So I'm getting the feeling the temperature's going to drop fairly quickly. I'm just going to spin my legs. And there's a town in about 100k. And I'm hoping I can maybe a bit less than 80k. Hoping I can maybe make it there, find a room. I've WhatsApped some houses, see if they reply. But yeah, bye for now.
So yeah, that was Angus. It sounded like he was about to puke up on camera. But yeah, he looks particularly rough. Looks like he's very much cooked himself and not necessarily being able to hold it. I suspect if he's made a mistake and cut his tyre and spent time doing that, the panic can set in and you can probably forget about the basics of drinking and keeping cool. I've not got any updates from the women's race at the moment. Obviously Kerry looks like she's doing really well. Hopefully she's managed to, well, she must have managed that heat fairly well to be still kind of rolling. You can see there's kind of a bit of a separation at the front. One rider talked about in the race preview was Cynthia Carson, and she's not been up there at all really. If you look down the list here, where is she? She must be like 100 or so. Here we go. So she's way off at the moment. Really looks like she might be struggling. So I suspect she has most likely had some kind of heat stroke style symptoms. I've not heard from her. I'll see if I can find out. But you know, it's not over, but it definitely does put Kerry in a very strong position going forward. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to keep an eye on that women's race as well. And yeah, there's plenty of other women ahead of Cynthia as well. So we'll dig into that, and I'll try and find out some information for the next updates. So I think I'm just going to run through the Silk Road Instagram, because there's so many good photographers and really good media coverage. Sounds like it was a pretty good start in Talas. All the local dignitaries are out. It's a big deal. Getting 400 people or 300 people into a tiny town in the mountains of Kyrgyzstan. That's quite a big deal for the local town, the local economy as well. And they've certainly set up a good start there. So yeah, there's Justinas in his nice white UV jersey, and everyone rolling out. And one thing they have in Kyrgyzstan is some really good statues. You notice that all over. Sometimes you just get some old USSR ones as well. There'll be a random Lenin somewhere, although they are gradually changing them. And you can see the rollout here, and Sofian going for a swim. Also check out the Silk Road Mountain Race podcast. Obviously they're reporting from on the ground. I'm just observing from afar, which has its own benefits, and you can see the riders coming down that first descent there, and that's what we're looking at. Pretty spectacular. And so go and check out that, and I shall be back tomorrow. So thanks for watching. I'll have better sound, better visuals tomorrow. And I'll be back, so yeah, that'll be Monday evening, and that'll be a day 3 roundup, and then I'll be doing every day in the evening. So thanks very much for watching, and see you soon.